The crack of splintering pine at dawn isn't the wake-up call any guy dreams of, especially not before that first sip of black coffee hits your veins. But there I was, Tom Riley, a 45-year-old retired bridge welder from the dusty plains of Montana, staring down the barrel of chaos as Laura Bennett plowed her shiny silver Audi right through my ranch gate for the sixth damn time that week. This wasn't some hot-headed neighbor feud or a drunk driver lost in the fog. No, Laura was out there snapping photos of every jagged splinter, measuring the breaks with a laser tool, and pounding neon green stakes into the ground like she was prepping for a courtroom showdown. Little did she know, 2 decades of fusing steel under brutal conditions had wired me to think in terms of unbreakable structures, not petty squabbles. The trap I had in mind, it'd halt that Audi like a brick wall, and she'd never see it coming. Folks, if you've never had some polished real estate sharks systematically trash your family's land while grinning like it's a favor, count your blessings. I'd hung up my welding torch to enjoy a quiet life on the 50-acre spread my granddad had carved out by hand back in the 70s, raising cattle under those endless big sky sunsets. Steel doesn't bend to emotions, and neither did I, at least. Not until Laura's silver beast became my morning alarm. This time, she wasn't even faking remorse. As I trudged over with my steaming mug, the air thick with the scent of crushed pine and her car's expensive leather, she flashed that fake politician smile. "Morning, Tom," she chirped, camera clicking away. "Sorry about the gate, but we both know this can't drag on forever. Property lines shift when county growth demands road access." Her words slithered out smooth as oil, but they chilled me to the bone. This was no breakdown. It was a blueprint for invasion. I fired back, keeping my cool like I did on high-steel jobs where one wrong word could tank the whole build. "Ma'am, this is posted private land deed. Survey, taxes, all squared." She laughed, a hollow sound that echoed across the dew-kissed pasture. "Lines change for infrastructure, sweetie. I've got backers eager to wrap this up fast." Backers. That word landed like a sledgehammer. This wasn't HOA nonsense. It was big money eyeing my dirt for their empire. After she peeled out, leaving those green stakes like enemy flags, I dug into my records. My place appraised at $450,000, but her initial buyout offer? A insulting $200,000 half value, straight up robbery. In Montana land deals, that screams desperation tactics or insider dirt. That afternoon, a plain envelope slid into my mailbox. No stamp, no cinder, just waiting like a ghost. Inside, Laura Bennett's land grab playbook, detailing scams like bogus surveys, press smears, and phony rights-of-way. But the margins? Scribbled in crisp, blueprint-style script that screamed engineer load stresses, weak points, the works. Notes like standard rural takedown, isolate singles or elders, fake trail first, hit hard. Someone had dissected her game for years, spotting every flaw. Why me? Why now post-crash 6? As dusk fell, those stakes mocked me from the porch, envelope heavy in my grip. Tomorrow promised hell. By sunrise, it wasn't stakes and selfies anymore. Laura rolled up with a 4-man survey crew, a county van, and gear that could have mapped the Rockies. Beeps from transits pulsed like a war drum, diesel generators humming as lasers etched my 50 acres into their grid. "Morning, Tom," she waved unfazed. "Just updating for county road needs." "On private turf?" "Bull." But the kicker hit at 10 a.m. A neighborhood update on my lawn. 30 locals gathered as she pitched Willow Creek Estates Phase 2 with slick charts, mics, and banners screaming, "Building Montana's tomorrow." Property boosts, smoother commute, she sold it like snake oil, neighbors nodding like she'd cured poverty. I slunk to the barn, welders stealth kicking in, eavesdropping from hay bales. She stepped away for a call, voice carrying clear. "Timeline's tight. Neighbors love it. $70,000 bonus if we lock the route by month's end." Pause. Willow Creek's gold, 350 premium homes, but his land's the direct path. Detours/values 25%. We need it, or profits tank. My gut twisted. Grandpa's sweat, Dad's herds, my retirement dream reduced to a profit margin. She'd trash my legacy for a fat check while her crew mapped the kill. Another envelope waited post-pack-up. Permits for Willow Creek, profit forecasts in the millions, maps pinning my acres as the linchpin. Precise notes dissected it all years of spying. Who? An insider scorched by her before? That night, a knock at 7:30. Sarah Ellis, neighbor 2 miles off, clutched a box like it burned. Tom, after today's circus, you gotta see this. Inside, old photo albums from wrecked families. First, the 2015 Wilsons, elders beaming by their gate, then shattered fences, tear-streaked faces after Laura's rampage. Second, 2017 single mom Rivera, garden ruined, mailbox bashed, ending in breakdown and sale. Third, 2020 loner Robert Harper, fighting till court docs vanished, then poof gone, property fire sold. Sarah whispered, Robert trusted me with his file before vanishing. Same script. Threats, bribes. The note. That engineer script. Pro-predator. Stop her. 8 more whispers over a decade, 12 total. My phone buzzed. Deputy Grant recusing over ties to Laura's kin. Law tainted. Next dawn, news vans, Laura on my drive. Interviewing folks on my selfish block of progress. One file had sealed records, buried evidence inside her legal chops. Then Inspector Hayes at 8 a.m., clipboard of phantom violations on my hazardous gate built to bridge specs, certified welds. Needs engineer stamp for safety, he droned. Enter Alex Harper, neighbor lawyer in his 40s, suit sharp, dismantling Hayes with polite jabs. No notice? Wrong codes? Hayes fled. Over coffee, Alex spilled. Devs pull every lever inspections. Eco-probe still you crack. His know-how? Too deep for casual. That night, cams caught midnight shadows. For pros planting trackers, ghosting in 25 minutes. Pro gear, pro moves corporate black ops. Time for my fix. I engineered a pine facade over steel beam core, cattle guard base, signs blazing. County emails, notary stamps, cams syncing off-grid, no trespass mail ironclad trail. Burner email, Laura's convoy blueprint vehicles, signals, backups. Alex eyed it cool. Insider leak. Predators breed hunters. Dawn patrol. Marks, witnesses, Sarah on porch, old-timer across road. QR codes to rules. Coffee down, pieces locked. At 8 sharp, convoy thundered. Laura's Audi lead, for black Escalades, suits like mobsters, 50 neighbors filming. She donned hard hat, vest, clipboard. Today, we claim this vital road. Tom's blockade ends. Alex nearby, Gear Pro, whispering, step back demos get wild. She revved, charged at 40 miles per hour. Boom hood crumples, engine cracks like thunder, steam erupts. Chains smash. Escalades pile, airbags bloom, tires shred on guard screeches, pops, oil slicks. Chaos symphony, 50 phones capturing trespass gold. Steel don't yield to greed. I yelled, cheers erupted. Laura crawled out raging, phones glued. 2 hours later, $6 million suit threat traps, harm. Insurance bailed, intentional. Smears flew, Montana militia madman, on Channel 9, neighbors ghosting me at the co-op. Alex, pro bono, anti-slap filed, shredding her 50-page war declaration. 5th envelope, her banks, $950,000 dirty commissions, emails plotting crushes, bonuses for quick kills. Alex scanned like old news. Networks fight back. His motions crushed, recordings of her bribing inspectors, victim swears. Hearing packed, Alex boxes evidence. 10 years, 12 families crushed. Objections? Smashed. Recess, he doffs glass jaw and matches Robert's photo. I'm Alex Harper, Robert's son. She killed him stress heart attack, 2020. Sealed our exit to hunt. Those envelopes. Mine. 8 years building your noose, Laura. Silence shattered. Evidence avalanche. Affidavits. Fakes exposed. $950,000 fraud web. Prosecutor Logan. Charges fraud, conspiracy, abuse. Assets frozen, license yanked. You murdered my dad for dirt, Alex spat. Now 12 families rise. Laura crumbled. Town hall a month later. Gasps at her bonus docs, viral shares. Class suit. $2.5 million to victims. Conviction. 5 felonies, 20 months jail, probation, decade restitution bankrupt, exiled. Willow Creek dead on violations. Reforms. Ethics oaths, oversight boards, new laws jailing harassers. My land. Eternal no road seal. Gate a landmark student study its defiance math. Values soared 30%, my spread golden. Now, porch coffee at dawn, gate shining symbol of grit over graft. Friendship with Alex? Lifelong, his free clinic shielding kin. But was justice sweet, or did we bend rules too? Would you fortify your home against thieves and suits, risking ruin? Or cave for cash, letting greed win? Spill your guts below. Did this fire you up for a like? Or make you question the system's rot? Subscribe if you're ready for more raw fights against the machine. The crack of splintering oak at 6 a.m. isn't the kind of wake-up call any guy dreams of, especially not before that first sip of black coffee hits your veins. But there I was, Ethan Caldwell, a 48-year-old retired structural engineer who'd spent 2 decades piecing together highway overpasses that could shrug off hurricanes, staring down at the wreckage of my ranch gate for the 7th damn time that month. This wasn't some drunk joyride or a neighbor's grudge gone sideways. No, Lisa Hargrove was out there in her spotless silver Audi, snapping photos of every jagged shard like she was curating an exhibit at the county fair. She measured the gaps with a laser tool, hammered in those fluorescent green survey markers, and jotted notes on a tablet that screamed official business. Folks, if you've never watched someone trash your slice of heaven with a smile that says, "This is for your own good," count your blessings. You ain't truly tested yet. My name's Ethan, and all I wanted was quiet acres in the rolling hills of Grayson County, Texas, where the wind whispers through the live oaks, and the soil's been in my family since my granddad broke his back clearing it by mule and sheer cussedness back in the 50s. 20 years welding girders under the relentless panhandle sun had drilled one truth into me. Steel don't bend to wishes or wallets. It follows the math, plain and cold. What I didn't count on was folks thinking dollar signs could rewrite the laws of gravity and good sense. That morning in early July 2023, as the dew clung to the twisted metal like reluctant tears, Lisa straightened up from her crouch, dusted off her khakis, and fixed me with that polished grin you see on infomercial hucksters. "Mornin', Ethan," she drawled, voice smooth as iced tea over crushed ice. "Sorry about the gate again, but you know how it is. Progress waits for no man. County roads gotta expand, and your deed? Well, easements evolve when the greater good calls." Evolve? That word slithered under my skin like a rattler in tall grass. This wasn't neighborly chit-chat, it was a declaration. I turned down her first buyout offer 6 months back, $220,000 for my 45 acres, when the assessor's books pegged it at $450,000 easy. In these parts, where land's worth more than gold dust, you don't lowball like that unless you've got cards up your sleeve or a bulldozer idling in the wings. She peeled out in a spray of gravel, leaving those green stakes like ugly sentinels marching across my pasture, and I stood there nursing my mug, steam curling up like questions I couldn't shake. Who the hell was bankrolling this circus? And why me? By noon, a plain brown envelope thudded into my mailbox. No stamp, no return address, just my name scrawled in block letters that hit me like a blueprint from an old job site. Precise, angled, the kind of script that screams, "I know tolerances and torque values." Inside, a dossier titled Lisa Hargrove's Land Grab Playbook, pages thick with tactics that'd make a snake oil salesman blush. Bogus boundary surveys, whisper campaigns to the local rag, phony right-of-way claims cooked up with county cronies. Margins crawled with annotations. Isolate solo owners' first stress fractures show quickest, one red, in that same engineer's hand. Document trail pre-litigation, deniabilities your rebar. My gut twisted. This wasn't gossip. It was a field manual for folks like her, preying on the lonesome spreads dotting the backroads. And whoever penned those notes, they'd been shadowing her moves like a hawk on a jackrabbit, mapping every weak joint in her scheme. That evening, as cicadas tuned up their symphony under a blood-orange sky, I pored over it on the sagging porch swing. The stakes glowed faintly in the twilight, mocking me. 7 crashes in a month, each more brazen, each building her paper trail. But why drop this bomb now? What made crash number 7 the tipping point? The handwriting gnawed at me, methodical, unyielding, like the etchings on a stress test diagram. Someone who built unbreakable things, and knew how to spot the ones that'd crumble. Dawn the next day brought the full circus. No more lone wolf act. Lisa rolled up with a squad of hard-hatted surveyors in vests emblazoned with Oak Hollow Estates, A county pickup idling behind like a badge of legitimacy, and gear that could have mapped the moon, total stations beeping like impatient heart monitors, drones humming overhead, a gas generator chugging away to juice the lasers carving my boundaries into data points. My front 40 looked like a forward operating base, men in neon swarming with tripods and tablets, while Lisa directed traffic with the flair of a drill sergeant who'd traded camo for pearls. "Mornin', Ethan. Just baseline reads for the county's road upgrade," she chirped, not batting an eye at the trespass. "Nothing to fret over, your spot's pivotal for connectivity." Pivotal. There it was again, that velvet-wrapped hook. I leaned on the fence, coffee going cold in my grip. "Lisa, this here's posted private. Deeds ironclad, surveys filed, taxes paid. You got a warrant or just a hunch?" She chuckled, low and without mirth, like gravel under tires. "Warrants are for crooks, hon. This is partnership. Oak Hollow's backers see big things. Jobs, values up for all y'all. Resist, and it's just. Inefficient. Partners. Plural." The pieces clicked. Not some solo shark, but a pod with deep pockets, eyeing my spread as the golden key to their gated utopia. Around 10, the real theater kicked off. Word spread like wildfire through the holler. Lisa's town hall on my own damn lawn, complete with easels of glossy renders, a podium mic hooked to speakers blaring folksy tunes, and handouts touting Oak Hollow Estates. Your future, rooted here. 30-odd neighbors trickled in, folding chairs scraping the grass I'd mowed just last week. Old Mrs. Ramirez from the next ridge took notes furiously, grizzled Mr. Fowler grilled her on tax hikes with the suspicion of a man who'd seen too many free lunch schemes. Lisa worked the crowd like a revival preacher. Charts flashing projected booms, property bumps of 30%, smoother commutes to Sherman, testimonials from sister sites where paradise had bloomed. "Folks, Ethan's holdout hurts us all," she cooed, gesturing at my oaks like they were the villain. "One man's fence is another's fortune lost." I hung back by the barn, shadows my ally, ears straining over the generator's growl. 20 years on sites from Amarillo to Austin had honed my ear for cons, the subtle tells, the rehearsed patter. And then, gold. Lisa stepped aside for a quick call, phone to ear, voice slicing the still air. "Yeah, timeline's tight. Neighbors are eating at utmost, see the win-win." A beat, then her tone sharpened, excitement bleeding through. 70 grand bonus if we lock the corridor by August. Narrative's airtight, he's cracking. 70 grand. Not for progress, but her cut from flipping my dirt into driveways. Oak Hollow's the linchpin, 350 units at top dollar, but detour routes tank values 25%. We need his 40 or the math bleeds red. 350 luxury pads, my family's blood soil as their shortcut. The cruelty landed like a sledge on fresh weld schedule, arithmetic, turning legacy into ledger lines. Granddad's calloused hands, Dad's endless fences, my retirement dreams of rocking chair sunsets. All collateral in their spreadsheet sin. When the crowd thinned and rigs rumbled off, envelope number 2 waited in the box, fatter, fiercer. Traced the cash vein. The note urged in that blueprint script. Inside, Oak Hollow permits rubber stamped 2 years back, profit models fat with 9-figure upside, plots pinpointing my acres as the artery. They'd hoovered adjacent plots quiet like, greased palms for green lights, all hinging on me folding. Lisa wasn't rogue. She was the tip of a corporate spear, millions sunk, desperation mounting. The annotations dissected at all legal chinks, fiscal fouls like a saboteur's love letter. Who was this ghost in the margins? An insider scorched by her flame? Their access screamed, burned but not broken. That night, a rap at the door yanked me from the haze. Sarah Jenkins, the quiet widow 2 miles downwind, stood there clutching a battered cardboard crate like it held state secrets, her eyes wide with the weight of unspoken storms. "Ethan, after today's show, with the suits and the spin, you gotta see this. It'll flip what you think of Lisa Hargrove inside out." We settled at the scarred oak table, her hands trembling as she cracked the lid. Photo albums, real ones, thick with faded Polaroids that smelled of attic dust and regret. "These are from the ones she chewed up before you," Sarah whispered. 4 families, same script, different stages. The first batch gut punched me. The Ramirez spread, 2015, a silver-haired pair beaming by their windmill. Then the slide gate mangled, fences felled, their faces hollowed by fear, eyes like cracked earth after drought. Lisa wanted it for a strip mall, Sarah said. Wore him down till they fled to Lubbock, penniless. Album 2. Young widow Carla Ruiz, 2017. Her and 2 kids grinning amid tomato vines. Then the siege stakes sprouting overnight, tractor ruts scarring her plot, mailbox toppled weekly. Last shots. U-Haul back to the door, for sale, flapping in defeat. 2 jobs to hold it. Lisa broke her in 5 months. Nervous collapse followed. The third? An old-timer, Victor Hayes, 2020, solo on 15 acres, progression identical, idle to invasion to eviction. But his stash had extras, crumpled summonses, scrawled affidavits vanishing from dockets like smoke. Fought dirty, hired help, but poof case ghosts. He vanished to New Mexico, sold for scraps. Whisper is, Lisa's strings pulled the blackout. Stomach sour. I traced the faces mirrors of my own dread. Sarah, where'd these come from? She fidgeted, voice dropping. Ramirez's handed him off before packing. Carla's brother dumped hers post-breakdown. Victor? Slipped it to me his last night here, said I was the only one left with spine. A folder tumbled out, fat with proofs, surveyor logs matching my nightmare, threat notes echoing Lisa's patter, ledgers tying her to Oak Hollow's silent overlords. Clipped front, a note in that damn precise script. She's a land vulture. Ground her before more nests fall. 11 families, Sarah murmured, eyes distant. Tales from 3 counties, a decade's toll. 11 souls scattered like chaff. My phone buzzed, then unknown caller. Voice clipped like starched cotton. Mr. Caldwell? Deputy Harlan here, county sheriff. Recusing from your Hargrove, dust up family ties to her cousin, Marlene. State Trooper Vargas takes point now. Click. Connections in blue? The rot ran deep, veins to the badge. Sleep? A joke. By false dawn, news vans clogged the drive, Lisa front and center, mic in hand, neighbors parroting her vision, while she damned me the holdout hobbling harmony. Inspector Tate rolled up at 8 sharp, clipboard bristling with phantom fouls me gate, structurally suspect. A public peril per anonymous tips. Code mandates, sir. This here's a lawsuit waitin'. I bit back a laugh, flashing my old ASC stamps. Tate, this beast's overbuilt steel spine like an interstate abutment, footings to bedrock. It's safer than your truck. He hemmed, but then a sleek Ford braked hard. Out stepped a guy mid-40s, crisp button-down over khakis, exuding that quiet command of a man who'd stared down worse than bureaucrats. Morning, fellas. Alex Hayes, counsel, just down the lane. Official wheels? Figured I'd keep the scales even. Tate puffed up, but Alex dismantled him polite as pie. Notice served, Inspector. 7 days per reg. None. Complaints logged with IDs? Zip. Residential code or comms high the mismatch. Crickets. Hour in. Tate slunk off, mumbling rechecks. Over porch brew. Alex leaned in, eyes sharp. Ethan, this song and dance. Textbook rural raid inspectors as battering rams till you cave. Seen it chew up good folks. His breakdown rang too true, too tuned to Lisa's tune. How's a local suit hip to these tricks? He grinned faint, shadows flickering. Let's say Kin taught me hard. Devs play dirty. I play procedural. He offered pro bono armor if the barrage ballooned. Relief? Sure. But his poise prickled too pat, too primed. Night cams caught the heist at 3 a.m. For shadows and black, ghosts gliding silent, planting tracker pucks masked as stakes bro gear, hand sign lingo, in out under half an hour. Dawn, I looped it for Alex. He dissected frames like autopsy slides. Black Ops level bankrolled heavy, rehearsed ruthless. His jargon veered technical, beyond bar exam basics. What flavor law you sling, Alex? Land skirmishes mostly borders, takings, dev dust-ups. 8 years now. 8. Echoed Victor's vanishing in 2020. Coincidence? Or calculus? Enough dawdling. If Lisa's Audi fancied gate-busting, I'd forge a fortress legal as sunrise. Sketches flew oak veneer over H-beam heart, cattle grate jaws, signs screaming stop in dayglow. Alex greenlit, bulletproof under Grayson codes. I chained compliance like links. County line queries emailed, notary stamped installs at dusk, Cams upgraded to 4K with off-grid backups. Checksums taped like weld logs. No trespass missives certified to her firm and Oak Hollow's suits. Deputies posting neutrals, text to neighbors. Fill in 4 facts, join if you want. Trap? Nah. Testimony in steel and statute. Then, burner mail. Oak Hollow's war plans, convoy charts. Radio frex, fallback feints. Insider bleed, veins open. Alex item cool. Insanely tight. Sources deep in the nest. No shock, just nod like he'd blueprint the blueprints. Sunup, I paced the approach, while marking speed traps in chalk. Cam's tripod triangulated, neighbors posted. Sarah for sound, Fowler crossroad. A retired Sparky snapping metrics. QR on the gate linked codes to proofs. Physics primed, footage faithful. If they charged, truth would testify. 8 sharp, the armada thundered. Lisa's Audi spearhead, for escalades tailing like wolves, exhaust veiling the haze. Neighbors spilled out, phones up, air thick with thunderous idles. Lisa hopped out, hard hat halo, vest screaming safety, waving plats like holy writ. Friends, today we claim our corridor. Ethan's blockade ends. Oak Hollow rises. Alex loomed laneside. Dear Pro, docks arrayed like artillery. Step light, Ethan demos get dicey. Crowd swelled to 50, breaths held as Lisa mounted up, revved for glory. Engines roared. She lunged at 40, a silver arrow to my anvil. Collision? Symphony of ruin. Audi snout accordioned on the beam, hood folding like wet cardboard, engine bark cracking, steam erupting volcanic. Whiplash chain. Lead Escalade plows nose deep, grinding shrieks. Second deploys bags and powder blooms. Third swerves to grate. Tires erupting staccato, fluid sheeting black. Cacophony owned the air metal wail, rubber thunder, coolant hiss while 50 lenses captured the carnage, shares firing live. Viral verdict, greed's grave. Lisa clawed from the airbag blizzard, fury etching her mask, dialing daggers before toes arrived. Execs barked into bricks, empires quaking. 2 hours on, Mr. Caldwell, Kendra Voss, Hargrove and Voss, for Ms. Lisa. 24 hours, $6 mil sutrekkage, whiplash, booby trap battery. Settle or we crucify. Audacity's apex. Insurance ghosted. Intent clause voids us. Solo in the storm. Neighbors averting eyes at the co-op. Whispers branding me, that Fort Nut. Alex stormed in, briefs blazing. Anti-slap salvo filed her hackworks haywire. Convoy clips crush her con. His filing? Surgical strike. Gutting rights rips, sanctioning her squad for bully briefs. They wrote repeat, scare tactics, skimps on process, settle or starve sums. But flaws? My forge. Dissected in days, not decades intimate as vendetta. Envelope 5? Nuclear. Bound Fed grade. Lisa's ledgers, $950,000 ill-gotten over 10 years. Chains plotting my mitigation, bonuses for blitz buys. Alex perused placid. Privacy vaults breach pro Intelnet. Emails exposed cronies. Clerks fast-tracking fakes. Inks inked for infra illusions. Contracts cashed cruelty. Rush ruin rebates. Fight flattened fees. Land piracy, incentivized. Alex's barrage buried her. Motions mining her mines. Discovery dragging her dirt. Sanctions spiking her sails. Taps leaked her terror. Who's this haze? How's he holding our guts? Dread delicious. His fire? Personal pyre. More than your dirt. Ethan this empire crumbles. Enablers entombed. Court day, August swelter packed the pews. Alex hauled crates, scribes shadowing, poise predatory. Lisa's phalanx preened, big firm bluster. Gavel fell. Alex rose, voice velvet over vanadium. Honor, this ain't spat at syndicate. Decade of deceit, dozen dooms. Unboxed Armageddon. Banks bared, calls crooks. Kinships crushed. Objections? Obliterated, precedents parrying. Pivot. Tapes of Lisa scripting Tate's tall tales max squeeze till they snap. Her pallor peaked, squad scrambling. Recess. Alex shed specks, jaw set echo of Victor's grainy glare. Blood rushed. Disclosure. Honor. 6 years back, Lisa lashed my folks. Dad. Victor Hayes, 84. Heart gave under her hell-died defending dirt he dug from nothing. Gasps rippled, Lisa blanched bone white. We were 12th sealed to stock. Every ploy she peddled you, Ethan, echoed on us, 10 before. I forged this file from funeral flames every fraud, favor, family felt. Cascades crushed. Oaths from 11. Clerk confessions, cash cascades. $950,000 from ruins conspiracy, abuse, larceny league. Prosecutor Pike pounced. Felonies fly, fraud fivefold. Mischief, elder evil, estate embezzle. Assets iced, license lynched, partners purged. In 4 fevered hours, Lisa tumbled from Titan to Target, cage-bound. Facing her, every whisper, Ethan, my wind. You raised my root, I reaped your rot. Voice vibrated vengeance. 12 kinships cracked for coin. Dad built for blood, you buried him in bullshit. But his ghost gave me gears to grind you gone. Outside, Alex unspooled. Law lends locked proofs, 6 years shadowing strikes. Your siege? My spark justice for the ghosts. Puzzle pieced, envelopes his echoes, arrival his aim, acumen his atonement. Sun scorched, striking silent till strike perfect. September sunup, community convene not circus, salve. Alex's recap raw, contracts cruelty, kinships craters. Murmurs morphed to outrage, Ruiz's? Lisa lied bout relocation dreams. Phones flared, feeds flooding her fall. Class carve up, $2.80 mill mended 11. Fees feasted, punitives pounded. Verdict, 5 counts, 2 years bars, 7 probation, decade drain on dues. Oak Hollow, obliterated zoning zombies, eco-eviscerations unearthed. Grayson girded, Harlan humbled to ethics exile. Multi-sign mandates for maps, probes, anti-assault acts arming owners. My 40. Fortress for Averno Path plaque, gate gospel for grads graphing grit. Hollow healed. HOA honest, Hills humming cooperation, values vaulting 28%, my spread soaring past half mil. Lisa's lure laughed off. Alex anchored, free fire for feuds, fellowship forged in fights forge. We didn't just stonewall, Ethan, we schooled the system. Proof. Lone wolves win with packs, persistence. Lisa? Lazarus Nollisense is lost, ledger liquidated, luxury liquidated to lumps. Exiled from empires, I'd eternal as eater of homes, she slunk to Colin shadows, shackled to scraps. Pariah's pyre. These days, I sip Java on the veranda, dawn gilding the girder guardian oak sentinel, plaque proclaiming, path prescribed, private proven, predators punished. Some builds ain't beam and bolt, their backbone binds belief in balance. Lisa lusted lane through legacy, law locked her legacy in locks. In the ledger of dust and drive, rights reinforced by resolve rout the rust of rapacity every time. But here's the rub that keeps me up some nights. Was Alex's 8-year haunt heroism or haunting obsession? Would folding to her first offer have spared the scorched earth jobs birthed, not just my gate gleaming? Or does progress always demand a devil's deal, crushing the quiet for the clamor? Spill in the comments. Ever been to a bully and regretted the breaker broke? And wondered the cost? Hit like if this tale torched you, share if it stirred your spine, and subscribe for more raw reckonings where everyday iron clashes with empire's edge. What's your line in the dirt?